noise.
Can everyone hear us?
Yes.
Yep.
We can hear you.
All right, great.
All right, let me call the roll. We may need some stand-ins tonight, but that's okay. Debbie Small. No. Joan Coco.
Yes.
Karen Fotino. No. Karen Panett.
Yes.
Oops. wrong. Marilyn Shapley, yes. Karen Janowski.
Yes.
John Parsons, I knew he would not be able to come tonight. Sally Hoyt. Nope. Sandy Schaefer. Nope. Nancy Twadros.
Yes.
Gonna have to appoint a stand-in. Nancy Zimlack,
Yes.
Becky Behenna. Rosemary Di Benedetto. I did it right, I did it right. I finally
Very
pronounced it.
good. You get an A.
I keep trying. It's a lot of syllables for this little feeble mind. Beverly Cuneo
Yeah.
and Jean Prado.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full members, so we need to appoint someone as an acting full member for the evening. Rosemary, would you like the honor?
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all so much for coming out with this special meeting. I trust everyone received the email today and the attachment. Is that a fair assumption? If not, I'll go through it.
Saw it now.
Pardon me?
I didn't get it earlier. I just saw it now. Is it just this? This is it?
That's the attachment.
Okay.
I have an extra.
All right.
I got 2 extras actually, if anyone here else here needs one. Did everyone here online get it? Email and Beverly, did you get it?
I'm not sure, to be truthful with you. I didn't even.
Okay, Joan, did you get it?
Yep.
Great. We can review it. The cover letter at this point was mostly to get you to come. But the important thing is the attachment. And everyone here has it? Yes, great.
It was a good cover letter, though. Can you read it out loud for people that,
My voice will go.
because it kind of set the stage.
Okay. All right, hi all, reminder come tonight. I'm gonna skip that part. Jenna's email stated the importance. Thank you, Jenna, where are you? Jenna?
She's still there, but she's,
Okay, Jackie Behenna is here. I will check you off, Jackie. Thank you for coming. Jenna's email stated the importance of this meeting tonight, so I quoted her. I couldn't do better. Thank you, Jenna. There are exciting opportunities on our plate right now, which does call for Recalc and the Council on Aging to expedite their narratives on a potential new center. Town staff is even sending along their own memo to Recalc. It's just, again, they're looking for our feedback. They want it in writing. This is our opportunity. This is a Zoom link. To help the COA formulate its position regarding a potential new center, Nancy Zimlack and I reviewed the data in the UMass study very carefully, considered feedback we've heard from the 60+ community, led initial discussion of the UMass report and John Sasso's draft recalc summary among COA members whom we met last week and Pleasant Street Center staff. We met with Mike Doxer and Fidel Maltez to discuss new senior center options, and we discussed the draft recalc summary at length with John Sasso. So we've been thinking a lot about this, trying to make sense. Based on what we've learned, we put together notes on our key findings and recommendations in drafted language, which is what's in this attachment. Pending Council on Aging approval, we're not taking any liberties, we're just trying to help facilitate the discussion here. This could serve as the basis of formal motions from the Council on Aging. This information is contained in the attached document. As you'll see, this is all draft, and I emphasize that. Again, we're not trying to impose our opinions on anyone. It's just Nancy and I talk all the time and can't resist writing things down. Moreover, it was compiled over the course of several weeks, and consequently, it reflects something of an intellectual journey. Our minds have shifted in places, so there might be things that are a little ambiguous as to how they relate. Nancy and I will walk through the points tonight and clarify, and we welcome input, good, bad, ugly, and supportive and not.
Or a whole nother approach.
Or a whole nother approach. Yeah, we're open. Again, this is a working document to help us talk. And then just a reminder again, and everyone was good, no discussing what I sent. I can't use email to discuss because of the open meeting rules. And thank you, everyone, for being well behaved. As always. All right, so before my voice caves in, Nancy, do you want to talk a little bit about how this document's structured, how we might go through it?
Well, I think what you described is what we did. We looked at all the information. And what we did was highlight what we thought were the most salient points that we would recommend that Recalc include and emphasize in their summary report. Does that,
That's it.
okay.
And I,
Because originally were thinking about changing terminology and vocabulary in John Sasso's summary report.
we gave him feedback already that was just from me and from Nancy as our individual opinion on some of it.
Okay, I thought we were thinking about revising that, but that's what you're talking about has changed. You feel that the COA should set forth these motions that we as a council are agreeing on.
Right, because it's not our job to write their report. All we can do is say, this is what this meant to me, and you seem to think it meant something different. Talk it through, which is, we've done that in writing, we've done it on a Zoom call. He's heard lots from us.
Okay, so we could still talk about John's report and in relation to what's kind of written here, but rather than try to rewrite it line by line.
Yes, makes sense.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he's getting input from other people too that we don't see, so for all we know, the paragraph's already gone and says something else we might not like, but and hopefully would, but we have no idea. But this is just as you said, it's to formulate the Council on Aging's statement on what we would like to convey to Recalc.
That makes sense.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, there are two parts to it. Beverly, did you find yours?
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
Okay, everybody else has got the attachment, so we can walk through it? I think so. And I'll read a lot of it, Beverly, or I'll beg Nancy to when my voice gives out.
Do we know how to put it up on the screen?
That's a thought. Do we know how to put it up on the screen?
Yeah.
That would help.
Well, now, maybe.
I'm in the process of doing that. Give me 1 second.
I was just gonna share my screen.
Oh, if you can, that's good, Chris.
oh, that was fun.
Rosemary, you had your hand up.
All right, I found it, Marilyn.
Marilyn, wasn't there just one section or a paragraph that you and Nancy didn't like the wording of, or is there now, has that, whoop, what happened here? Oh,
Chris is.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Rosemary, there were many places where we pointed out that we thought the wording could be stronger and clearer, I think is the best way to describe it. There weren't many things that I would say were actually, in our opinion, wrong, except perhaps that ranking issue that drives me crazy. But and I've got an answer to that, which I'll circulate, but not tonight. That's another issue. But there were many, Rosemary.
And actually, a lot of what John said,
Mhm.
we agreed with.
Yes, yes,
He
absolutely.
he was pointing in the same direction as what we've written.
Right, right.
We just thought it kind of got buried a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
And
all.
again, we have a different charge, you
Yes.
know, as a COA.
Yes.
So I think this is really much more, yeah. so-
Yes.
so what our responsibilities are.
exactly.
So, yeah,
We're here to advocate for the
Yeah.
people who are elders, which we typically define as 60 plus, although that could be fluid too, but that's our perspective on this. All right, so let's start. Thank you for bringing that up. There are two essentially motions outlined here. The first one is about our opinion on a new senior center, saying set aside for the moment the issue of community center. And you'll notice we're really sticking to the terminology community center because that's the only word that was ever used in that survey. And so, to my experience, it's all that was used in the focus groups that I went to anyway. I can't speak for them all. So we're trying to take our own medicine because I particularly keep saying stick to the wording of the question. So we're trying to do that. So the first one is just focusing on the senior center itself. One of the things that we talked about, and I bless Nancy for bringing me around to really seeing it, but it just was so obvious when I thought about it. We've gotten caught up, I think, the community, and so far talking about this with that 49% that prefer a community center with designated senior safer stuff, blah, 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 rather than a smaller percentage out of the community as a whole that said solely senior center or however it's worded. But the reality is that both of those are, and possibly in addition to other things, but at core, those are both a preference to, yes, have a senior center, because they could have said, I don't want either. That was an option. Nobody, well, there were about 10% that picked that. But both of the, whether you wanted senior center all by itself or senior center in a designated space in a community center, you want a senior center.
I'm a little concerned about that percentage though.
I may have the percentages wrong.
Well, no, well, I don't think you do.
Okay.
So we look at that second sentence, the breakout by age group is telling, with older residents preferring the senior set, but. So I think the other thing too is when you say 60 plus, to me, that means anybody 60 plus.
Right.
So it's really 60, is it really 60 to 69?
I can tell you.
And is it really 70 to 79? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So I think we need to clarify that, and I
Okay.
have to say, 36% is not, you know, doesn't work in our favor.
No, but it's 36 plus 49 is what we're saying. 49% want a senior center in a designated space. And the other, whatever the percentage is, let me find it, want it all by itself. But either way, all of those people.
Okay, I see, okay,
want
I'm
a senior
missing that
center.
word only option.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Okay,
It's this, we're taking the
Yes.
all ages and we're adding
Okay.
those two.
all right, so I think we need to clarify that because other people might read it the way I did.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Senior
So-
center only option.
so what should we take out? How do we edit?
And is everyone who's remote following
I
what we're
think
talking
we
about?
add in both
I'm
options.
not seeing any
that-
hands raised, so I think so.
I think we say combined.
Yeah.
Plus only. And that would bring the percentage up much higher.
Okay, yeah.
Because this way, 36% is not convincing anybody. So I would
Yeah.
suggest that we combine both center only and center combined with community center.
But we don't even need to actually talk about the seniors per se. We can talk about the whole 1,740.
I think it's important to have the seniors make a statement.
Well, we can, but for the first sentence, and to contrast, the 49 is based on everybody, and that includes seniors as well as not. So I'm saying we should add to it the 33% that is also based on everybody, whether they're seniors or not. This is just out of the whole 1,740, what percentage either in one form or another said yes to a scenario with senior center in it. So out of the 1,740, we end up with 82%.
Which is a different way to look at the numbers.
Yep.
Which, so I would say that,
Yeah,
that the
okay.
60 plus is 82% want a center, a senior center only, or a combined senior
Well,
center.
this is out of the whole 1740,
Yeah,
not just the
the whole
60 plus.
Okay, then why don't we just say that?
Yeah,
and
that's what I was
break-
just saying.
Yeah,
Exactly, take the other
yeah,
out. So you can put
So
together.
take out the breakout?
yes.
Okay.
Because 82% of the respondents, that's
Huge.
significant.
Yeah.
Very.
That is what, that's the figure that we want people to focus in on.
Yeah. And what they told us was, actually it was 8% chose other, and what UMass told us was that the prevailing answers in all these others was, I don't think we need a senior center. So that's where they went if they didn't want one of these choices.
So then we don't need that second sentence.
We don't, no.
Crossed it out.
That's very important.
It is, and it's a different way of thinking about it, and it also sheds light back on the, 49% was close, but was never a majority, and they're using that to
Yes.
promote something that, and that's another whole separate
Yes.
discussion, but the 82, anyone who did not want a senior center should not have said, I prefer one of the first two options.
All right, so we're good with that first
Yeah.
bullet point?
Yep, and some of thinking that Nancy shared with me, and as I reflected on it, it made sense to me too, was, I might personally want a senior only one, but I'm a nice person, or anyone could be a nice person, so a community center could be nice for the community, sure. Why not spread the wealth? I'm not gonna lose anything because it's got a senior center and have checked the second. We don't know. The study didn't go this deep on anything, but I could easily imagine someone doing that. So it's another reason to put them together. Okay, we've got sentence one.
Second bullet point.
This is a well-documented need supported by recent and past studies to provide an accessible, inclusive senior center that has sufficient square footage to provide support services, programs, and events for Reading residents 60 and over. So this is just stating this was our starting point.
Can I just make a
Yes,
point?
absolutely.
We have to go by correct Robert's rules.
Yeah.
Somebody has to make this motion, then we discuss it,
Oh,
right?
I don't see it as a motion
Would we
made yet.
say-
I'm just sharing
well,
my thinking. We can do
It's-
that.
It's the topic.
Yeah,
All right.
because the way I worded it. I
All right,
mean,
so-
the other,
Would someone like to make? a
I'll
motion?
move.
Okay,
And then we can discuss this.
perfect. Thank
All
you.
right. And is there a second? I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I second.
I don't think you can. You can't vote.
Second.
Thank you. And I can't vote either. Don't feel bad. No, I can vote. I can't motion. Makes no sense.
Yeah,
But those are
so-
the rules.
Okay, so now we can.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so bullet point 2 is just reiterating what the starting point of this whole initiative was, basically. It's a documented need. We know we need bigger, better, more inclusive. It's just the way it is.
Accessible is very big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Would it-
great. Oh,
And
go ahead.
sufficient-
Sorry, on that second one, would it make more sense to lead with to provide an accessible and then put this as a well-documented
Yeah,
at the end of it?
yeah.
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 So moved.
Not moved, so
Well, we're discussing it.
noted.
No,
Yes,
I
yeah.
didn't, I'm moving.
Careful on the, oh. So adjusted. I'd be so careful with words.
Yes.
Okay, any more discussion on bullet 2?
Yeah,
No?
I
All
do. Hello,
Yes, yes, Rosemary.
Good.
okay. Bullet 2, how about if we just end that where it says and events for Reading residents, period? Why don't, rather than put age 60 and over?
Oh, no.
Well, because we're stressing the age, that we want to, we're stressing for over 60.
We're stressing for community center.
That's the
No.
second motion.
No,
That's the
That's the
second
second
one.
motion.
The first one is all about a senior center, regardless of whether it's in a community center or not, it's a physical spot that's a senior center. that fair?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you, Rosemary?
No,
Okay.
because you want everything to be accessible and inclusive for Reading residents. We don't have to specifically say for
Okay,
age
so-
60 and over.
okay, so if someone comes in with their grandmother, we want to make sure that someone doesn't have accessibility issues as well, right?
Oh,
Yes.
I think if you put that in there, our priority is the senior center with the possibility of having the community come in. I think that should stay in there.
How about this? To provide an accessible, inclusive senior center for ages 60 and over that has sufficient square footage, services, programs for Reading residents.
Yes, very good.
So I just
So adjust again,
moved it around,
adjusted it,
adjusted it.
shifted it someplace. Cut and paste it.
Rosemary's hands up again.
Yes, Rosemary.
Aren't we using the terminology for a center, a community center, which would include space for seniors? So basically, we're going for a community center, are we not?
No,
No.
why can't we just say a senior center with the possibility of availability for the community?
I think that comes in the next bullet, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to funding. I don't think you're gonna get funding when it's just for the seniors. I think it has to be for the community.
But we're getting to that in the second motion, I think, Rosemary. We've got two we're gonna discuss. But we're breaking it down into what we approve.
But let's take your comment and talk about it at the end of this, because it's a valid comment.
It is.
Okay, so
Okay.
what have you decided on bullet number 2?
Let me read it back.
So we're saying, to provide an accessible, inclusive senior center for ages 60 plus, 60 and over, that has sufficient square footage to provide support services, programs, and events for Reading residents, period.
As well documented by.
Oh,
recent
as
and-
well
By
documented
recent and past studies.
by recent and past studies. Thank you.
Well documented what? Percentage that we have 82%?
No, that is a well-documented need supported by recent and past studies.
With over 82% of the people in favor of a community center or a larger senior center.
No. 82% did not indicate they were in favor of a community center. 82%, when you add together those who want a senior center all by itself and those who want a community center that includes a senior center designated all by itself, together, that's 82% are saying, in addition to other things, saying that they want a senior center. We're just taking this in steps. First, let's find
Okay.
out how many want a senior center. Then we'll build on it.
Okay, go ahead.
Make sense? We
Yes.
can come back to it. Everybody good with bullet 2?
2 bags?
What, Joan?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Bullet 3. Continue to support the efforts of the Elder and Human Services to further the enhancement of existing / additional new quality programming / services for seniors, including evening and weekend programming available to those who have 9 to 5 jobs. Whenever possible, provide space for all age programming of Reading residents and collaborate with schools, recreation department, etc., to accomplish this. And this is where, Rosemary, we're getting into the broader audience. We're starting to.
Can I just suggest instead of who have 9 to 5
Yeah.
jobs, we just say daytime jobs?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I think you should eliminate that altogether. Available for those who prefer evening classes.
No, I think it should be programming available to those who have
Need
um,
of evening classes?
daytime daytime working schedules or something of that nature. But I don't think it should take away and say community again. This is for the seniors who are working during the week.
How about daytime commitments?
Daytime
Yeah.
commitments, yeah, because you could be taking care of your bed
Exactly,
husband.
a caregiver for,
You know, at night you've got relief, you know, whoever can come and give you a break, so daytime commitments.
And I had a question about where it says whenever possible. Do we need to kind of put parameters around whenever possible? Is that for when the space is not in use by the? Just asking the question.
Yeah, that, when I wrote it, that was my thought, and I was kind of being purposely vague, but trying to be specific at the same time, so people could read into it, but we could add that, what does the group think?
Makes sense to me.
So what would you add?
Is that sentence trying to say Reading residents have priority? Is that what you're trying to convey there?
No, we're saying,
When available, make, I don't know, I'm gonna say it in a bad way, but make space available for all age programming for Reading residents when available. I don't know.
I think it's whenever,
what if you just say right there, when
What are we trying to get at? What's the point? It sounds like the point is for prioritizing every space for the seniors.
yes, that's the point. But if we don't need it for priority things, we're
Okay,
happy to share the wealth.
if senior,
Why don't you say just priority for Reading residents first? And others can book outside.
No, Reading seniors, Rosemary. This is all Reading residents. Priorities for Reading seniors first is what we're talking about.
Why don't you just say that? Priority for Reading seniors.
How about whenever possible, provide space in addition to?
how about priority will be given to Reading 60 plus community and additional.
About priority will be given to Reading 60 plus.
But whenever possible.
But available to all ages,
but if available,
if not.
but if available to other.
All right.
Yeah, I think this is why I ended up with whenever possible.
I know, it's hard
Okay.
like that, I don't know. The priority is already 60 plus community, but we also, do you think maybe that is addressed in the second motion?
Well, you know, let me tell you my thinking for putting it here as well as down there. Because people reading this would, you know, you've still got those people who think that seniors don't go out at night, that seniors don't work, and they don't attend anything after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I wanted to, I don't know, kind of rope those people in and say, if there's space, you can use it, but priority is given to senior activities.
But again, I'm wondering, since the first one is about the senior center, could we then add that statement, that caveat in the second motion
Yeah,
instead?
we could do that.
When we're
What about-
talking,
Oops. What about if you just put when available? A space, when available, provide space for all age programming.
About when available after giving priority to
Yeah.
senior programming. Provide space. How's that?
That works.
yeah.
When available,
And available after giving priorities to senior programming. Provide blah, 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 blah.
And so when it talks about collaborate with schools, recreation department, excited to accomplish this, are we talking about the elder and her human services department of town hall?
Let me tell you why I put that in there, because in John's, or I'm gonna call it recalcs summary, it talks about collaboration. So, this was, I mean, it could be collaboration, these were just.
No, I'm all about collaborating. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering who is the one collaborating?
Right,
That's right.
right.
And so we talk about the office of
Oh,
elder and
yeah,
human
yeah.
services, so are
Good
we?
point.
How about for schools? Or, I see what you mean,
I don't think we need the collaborate.
okay.
I'd take that part of the sentence out.
Because that's something we really don't have control over. We
Right.
can encourage collaboration with,
And I make that a separate bullet. Make a statement, we encourage
Yes.
collaboration.
yes, I like that.
So that's a separate bullet and it's encourage.
Are we recording this?
We have RCTV,
RCTV is on here.
allow RCTV.
I think it's just a bot.
Oh, take all my fun away. Somebody must turn on the on switch and the off switch.
Are we going to keep schools, recreation, all of that? Or-
I don't know how
Can you
does it
compile
flow?
that?
When available? No. When
No, it's what.
Encourage
Priority will
collaboration.
be given to
No,
Reading.
No, when available, after giving priority to senior programming. Provide space for all age programming for Reading residents, period.
Okay.
And then the collaboration will be an additional bullet point
Right,
if people are in agreement.
and we might put that down on the second one, but a separate bullet right now, I think would simply be encourage collaboration with schools, recreation
I like
department,
that.
et cetera, to accomplish senior programming needs. How's that?
But that's opening a
Yeah.
wide window.
Yeah, but it's also making it clear that we don't expect to not have to make the best of all resources in the community. We're open to that. But we still think we need a senior center.
That's open.
How
that's-
about encourage use by schools, recreation department, et cetera?
Encourage use of the seniors of this new facility.
Yeah,
No.
when,
No.
when
Okay.
available, after
No.
giving,
No,
okay,
No,
okay,
No,
so
because-
we're crossing those out?
Because
yes,
then
we're
it
making
will
them a
not,
separate.
then
bullet.
it will not be
Okay.
the senior center.
Yeah,
Are we getting off point on this? Are we going round and round?
no,
No.
no.
There's a consensus for everyone.
do you think we are, Rosemary?
I do.
Okay,
I mean, basically, you want to provide the space for senior groups at the new
Seniors
center.
first.
Seniors
Yeah.
first, but we want to take advantage of and use what other facilities we already have, which was a point a woman who attended one of the meetings made, that there are a lot of other facilities in our town for kids to use, and that's why we didn't need a community center.
That is true though, Rosemary. There are a lot of facilities.
yeah.
But we're not talking about the kids right here. We're talking about the seniors.
Well, I
So
think
it's
she-
priority,
at
space
school,
priority
yeah.
for senior activities, but
Yes,
also available to others
yeah,
when available, when open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
We're not in use by seniors.
Right,
yeah,
and get rid of the schools
et
recreation.
cetera, and all of that, right? Because that'll be. open
not in
to
reality,
doors.
just in a sentence.
We're not reserved. How about we're not reserved for senior activity?
Yeah, I like that, because then they have to go to a calendar base. And
Well, they
someone,
have to go through the process. They have to contact whoever's gonna be in charge of the calendar for that facility. And if it's reserved for seniors, then it's reserved, but if the space an hour later is open, they can use that.
Well, okay.
As long as,
Here's worst case scenario. I am a Girl Scout leader. And I want a space for my Girl Scout troop to meet. And they meet every Tuesday from 7 to 8 o'clock. So I called to reserve the senior center every Tuesday from now until the end of the school year.
Yeah, but that's what she's saying. If
No,
someone
but we're not gonna have the programming. We kind of do the programming month by month. We don't have a whole year's worth of programming. So we don't want to find ourselves in a spot that we don't have it available. In the beginning, we may, because we don't have the programming there now due to lack of staff and advertising and programming, those kind of things. So in the beginning, it might be there, but as we move forward,
Right.
we might find that there's this whole population out there that shows up at 7 o'clock at
But
night.
they bribe us with Thin Mints.
So that's
Your
why,
thoughts, Chris, you're the one who handles.
I was just thinking that you're the one that faces this.
I don't
Excuse
think,
me.
Yes.
Excuse me, we do have programming now. Chris sets up a calendar every month and he moves the spaces around like he was moving checkers to fit in as much as possible on the calendar. So going forward, we will have somebody managing a calendar. And if the space is open for other groups, which if not seniors, if we don't need that time, then they'll reserve it.
but Rosemary, right now, as Chris plans, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, he doesn't have plans established for May programming on a schedule right now.
For
Not yet.
what program? For what
Not-
program?
He doesn't have a 12-month plan yet, Rosemary. He takes it mostly month by month.
But
Yeah,
going
but there's standard spots, filled for repeating the same classes. So he knows that he can't put somebody in on Zumba time. He
But we're
can't do
talking
that.
about, but we're talking about expanding the programming in the new center. It's going to be a learning process. It's going to be a word of mouth process and having more demand. It's going to be very fluid for a long time, Rosemary.
I don't think it's gonna be as much of an issue as you think. I think, you know, we are, once we get fully staffed, we are gonna be looking, right now, we look month to month. Our hope is to start looking 3 to 6 months out. I like the idea of at least 3 with some things probably within the 6-month range. Also, we have to keep in mind, I mean, we won't be the only place in town. Like, the library is still going to have their community room.
The schools are largely empty at night.
I know.
Yeah, so,
My
but
art
we
class
will,
is in a school in Arlington that I go to.
but at the same time, I think, you know, it's pretty common practice to, you don't be like, yes, you can have it for the next 12 months.
Yeah.
We can book something for 6 weeks out, maybe 8, which is 2-month period.
I would just put a period after written residence and look at that.
I think
What is
it's-
that you know what, I'm writing it, because we need to all look at this final copy.
yeah.
So I'm writing it down, although I didn't
bless
get
you.
everything. So what did we change that last sentence to? Then we can put it out.
We send it to when available after.
All right, wait, okay. So when available,
After giving priority to senior programming,
senior programming,
comma,
yeah,
provide space for all age programming for Reading residents.
okay, good.
Period.
Now, do you want to put Reading residents only?
I wouldn't.
I don't think you should put that because, well, for myself, I go to a couple of different senior centers.
I think that potentially could get a little complicated if you just put only.
Yeah.
I think if you just put Reading residents, I think it's fine. Once you put the only,
Yeah.
you don't want groups to be confused,
Right.
it might be a Reading group, but there may be somebody from Wakefield.
Right.
But then is that group gonna be like, oh, no,
You would let us,
You
we're not
can't.
letting you in.
well, let's say it's,
So I have a question. If a group,
yeah,
an outside the town
Hang
group,
on, Rosemary, hang on, we're having a
Yeah.
conversation, I'll come back to you in a second.
but,
Okay,
just because it's a Reading group doesn't mean they don't have someone from Wakefield or
Right.
Wilmington or who knows.
oh, you're looking at that, I was looking
Yeah.
at someone reserving it, you don't want just a Wakefield person coming in.
So I think it's good to say maybe you're adding residents, but I wouldn't say only.
Yes,
I think only really
yeah.
shuts the walls, doors on it.
Rosemary, I'm sorry.
Did you get that, Karen?
okay, here's another thought I want to toss out. Suppose, my neighbors, the Haystack Group wants to come in and use it, or an organization like, the Elks. Are we gonna be charging them money for the use of the facility?
I just read the rules. They're on the website for renting and reserving the facility. The only ones that can do it now are government entities like us and nonprofits. So those are the only two that can do it now, and it costs $10 for 4 hours.
And
What about
that's-
if somebody wants to rent it for a bridal shower or a baby shower?
No, because they are
No.
not a,
Nonprofit or government.
But also there's gonna be, we have to keep in mind, there's gonna be a whole lot of new policies and procedures once the facility
Yes.
gets built. I
Yeah,
think we're
right.
taking this a little bit too far
yes,
now.
I think it's too,
I think,
yes.
This is generalizations.
Yeah, we're
The
not even,
specifics, if and when we
not-
get what we want, I think will be then defined.
we're not on policy and procedures, even some of this wording. I think the important part is we're saying we want a dedicated space. But the good thing is, we're going to have a lot more space with more rooms. And I think personally, we're gonna be able to easily book rooms for the seniors, but there's always gonna be a room available.
Maybe.
I think,
The swimming pool at the Y used to be that way, and it's
Yeah.
gone.
it's like the
It's nothing
Pleasant,
but swim teams.
it's like the Pleasant Street Center now, we are getting very filled, but usually we have one or two groups upstairs, but there's always one room that we can,
I just, yeah.
I think we're getting too far down the road, Rosemary.
So what's the,
So
so,
we're taking out the collaborate with schools, recreation department, et
Yeah.
cetera. So
Yeah.
that's out. Maybe it'll resurface the second motion. It's out of this one.
and 9 to 5 jobs is changed to daytime commitment.
Yes.
Okay.
And did you get all the changes to the second bullet?
If I didn't, I'm gonna share it with you now. So that we can, once we wordsmith this, then I'll put the other one up.
Fabulous. Are we ready for bullet 4? Or did you want to do that before we go on to 4?
you wanna finish the
Probably
entire
should
document,
finish the
then we'll
whole-
put it up.
All right.
Yeah.
Bullet 4. Continue communication and community outreach to keep the community informed of efforts and the rationale/priority for addressing the identified issues and unmet needs.
Should you put on the present Reading Senior Center
Where,
at the end of that?
and unmet needs of the present center. Could be unmet needs of the new center as goes forward, who knows? If we find nobody remember to order the
I
dividers.
kind of left that open to, because again, I was kind of trying to pick up on some of the things we liked that John said, so that we were being supportive and collaborative.
But up above, it states the senior center, so if you're beginning with the senior center, why wouldn't you end with it?
Well, so all of these bullets pertain to the senior center. I don't think it has to say it in each bullet.
I don't see any harm that could come from bullet
Okay.
4.
So
So what do we want to say? Addressing the identified issues and unmet needs.
Unmet senior center needs, is that what you're saying?
Unmet
Need
of the
unmet
present
of the present
Reading
facility,
Senior Center.
of the present Are you referring to the unmet needs of the senior community, or are you referring to
That's
the
what I'm wondering.
unmet
That's
needs
what I'm
of the
confused
current
about.
Pleasant Street Center?
I think I was just,
I think it's both if we leave it open like that.
Yeah.
It's both the deficiencies in the facility itself as well as the programming that is unavailable as well. So the unmet needs for our seniors of the facility as well as for programming.
I just think that unmet needs leaves you hanging.
It
that
needs, and
it needs
so
an
you
end.
want to say of
I'd say
the
Reading,
current.
I wouldn't even focus on current because there could be unmet needs in the new one if we find
Oh,
that
I
they're
see,
doing
yes, you're
something
right, you're
deficient,
right, you're right.
like not ordering the room dividers or something. I would say unmet needs of Reading senior, Reading age 60 plus community, how's that?
that's seniors, 60 plus. It's a way of saying seniors without using the word seniors. Because a lot of people don't like.
We are what we are.
But what we are is we're over 60. There's no debate. It's got no.
Can I just, since that means there'll be 3 communities in there, can we
Yeah.
say to keep the residents, to keep
Yeah.
Reading residents informed,
Yeah.
or to keep the residents?
And while it's on my mind at the moment, when I was talking about Nancy and my communications with John Sasso, we were not presenting ourselves as representing the Council on Aging. We were presenting ourselves as 2 people who happened to be on the council, but we were giving him our feedback.
Did you get it? Do you want to?
I have to stop sharing.
Oh, Jenna needs it. I need to, are you the one sharing?
Yes, I'm sharing this.
Okay, if you want to open up the email and then you can.
Are we done with the first
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
First motion?
do we want to, do we
We
want
need
to?
to vote on the first motion,
Right,
but if we
before we
need
go to
to,
the second.
before we discuss the second
Okay,
one.
I can bring it up.
As part of the discussion on the first, is there anything, Nancy, you want us to be
I'm not sure.
mentioning at this point about, as it pertains to the first?
Me?
Did you email it or
Okay.
chat? Emailed it, okay, not everyone.
And I'm not sure, Nancy, if I've got all the changes in the second bullet point, because I thought of this after we were beyond that one.
And we really worked on it.
So you have to provide it, can you read your second
I
bullet point?
have to provide an accessible, inclusive senior center for Reading for age 60 and over.
Well, do we need to say that if we're saying senior center?
I don't think you
so.
do, because like you
Okay.
said, 60 plus and seniors.
Okay.
It has sufficient square footage to provide, is that what it's
Support services, programs, and events.
for Reading residents age 60 and over, as this is a well-documented need?
I'm gonna share this and it'll show anything
Okay.
you change.
Yeah. So this is what we, once, Chris, okay, this is what we've been discussing. And I just want to make sure that it included everything.
Doesn't have the motion itself on it.
No, I just, no.
Okay,
And was it 82% of the respondents? Okay.
I think so.
I wasn't sure if it was 82 or 84.
It's a 2, carry the 1, or 82.
Existing addition.
Bullet 2 is not a sentence, it's a phrase.
As this is,
No,
as this is sort of
To provide, it's just to provide an inclusive, accessible, inclusive center that has all the stuff we need.
take off the two and just put
Provide,
There
yeah,
you
just start
go.
with provide, there we go.
Awesome.
Yeah. Now it's a sentence.
I think it's good. It's to the point.
I like it.
I
All
do,
right, I would-
wait,
so-
we haven't heard much from Chris or Jenna, you're here, your opinion matters. I know you can't vote, but
Jenna, do you have any feedback?
Yeah, I think this is good. Yep, I think that you're saying that you're prioritizing the seniors, and if there is space to include others, you're welcoming it. So I think you are being inclusive and you're advocating for the seniors. And I think all of these talking points are great and to the point.
Yeah.
I think it's,
I actually like what you just said in place of more wording that we're trying to reword.
and I agree with Jenna. I think it says precisely what you want to say. I think, and I think the important part is the dedicated space, which it shows, but it also shows, like she said, you're willing to,
Open it up.
I have only one question about it before, I think my own contribution to the discussion. Does the motion will get stated, but are these things all physically part of the motion?
Yes, this is,
Is the motion worded in a way to reflect that then? A motion is made in support of a new senior center to support the current and future needs of the over 60 age population living in Reading, period.
including the follow and in sharing this information. I mean, the point is we're sharing this
Right,
information.
it's just not written, here. It's not part of the wording of the motion, right?
Right, so we need to amend the motion.
So we need to amend the motion.
So we want the motion to say, which a friendly amendment
A friendly amendment.
that we are saying that to include sharing the following information with appropriate boards.
No,
I don't know. I don't think we need to. I think this
I
is
like-
fine.
I like what
Yeah, I think
Marilyn
this is fine.
read and just put including the following.
So
at the
can
end
you-
of it.
are you able to quickly just type that at the top of this? Okay, emotion to support.
Yeah, it's tricky to getting this stuff in from the PDF.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
You want me to
sorry,
read
the
it to you?
The formatting is.
do you want me to read it to you?
Yeah.
When you're
Let me
ready.
try it, let me try it again, here we go. All right, here it is. And so
Might not work from a PDF.
okay, all right. I'm
Thank
just
you,
working
Jenna.
with the-
Thanks, Jenna.
Just working with the formatting, all right, there we go. Okay. Motion, and we don't even say a motion is made, motion to support a new senior center to support the current and future needs of the over 60 age population living in Reading.
Perfect.
Don't you have to put community center in there? A new
No,
senior
no.
center / community center?
No. We're talking explicitly in this piece about the senior center. That senior center might be in a community center, but we're not addressing that yet.
I think one of the big worries is, yes, we understand that this could be a community center, but we want to make sure that we have a dedicated senior center, a
Right.
dedicated space. Does that make sense, Rosemary?
So maybe we can say priority for senior center?
Well,
Yes,
that's kind of why
No, that's not strong enough.
At the end, Karen, do you want to put including the following?
We need some link to the bullets so that they're
Yeah.
just not, because
A motion
they're not a
to
motion
support
to
a
do
new
anything
senior
right now,
center.
they're just sitting there.
That includes, trying to think how.
Oh,
we
the
would
following
do it.
Points, the following.
That address the.
That encompasses the following?
That
That encompasses the following.
Yay.
Good job.
Following information.
Colon, yes.
Yeah.
All right, now I get to discuss, ask any more discussion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, any further discussion, anyone? Before we go
No.
on?
Yep,
It's-
I like that answer.
It's good, to the point.
All right,
No further discussion.
All right, let me bring up the other one.
wait, we have to
Wait,
vote,
wait.
we have to vote.
Oh.
Let's vote on this.
All right.
So we
And
had
I'll
the
bring it up.
motion, we had the
I'll bring it
motion,
Oh, okay.
we had the motion and we seconded it
Yes.
as amended with the friendly amendment?
Yes.
We didn't re-second the motion, we didn't re-motion and re-second.
It's a friendly amendment. And
You
I'm
don't
not
have to?
making it. No.
Okay,
As long as no one disagrees.
all right. We'll call the roll on the motion with the, as friendly amended. Amended by our friends. Debbie Small. Joan Coco. Joan,
She's muted.
Joan, are you muted?
Yeah, I just unmuted it. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Karen Fantino. Not here. Karen Panett.
Yes.
Marilyn Shapley, yes. Karen Janowski.
Yes.
John Parsons is absent. Sally Hoyt, not here. Sandy Schaefer, not here. Nancy Twadros.
Yes.
And Rosemary Di Benedetto. I did it right twice. You get the
Yes.
vote.
Yes,
All right, we have a unanimous vote from the voting members. So the motion passes.
Good. Very good.
Thank you, everyone. Good job. On to the second.
All right, before
Okay.
to support the concept of an all-ages community center. Trying to think how we word it with, so I've got it up there if you want to scroll down, Chris.
Hold on, I gotta get things. Here we go.
Do we need to put in there community center with
Designated
a
senior space.
designated senior center space? And that's where we could put the 49%.
Let's not ever bring that number up again.
Thanks, Nancy.
You're welcome.
Say it again and I'm gonna jump across the table.
Nah, we've been through worse than this. We've become very good friends through arguing.
So I
So
think
where
what
are
we do, I think what we do is we say because, and then we read this whole thing, but you can refrain from reading the whole thing. Because, all right, this is how it would work. Move to support.
Typo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's funny because it's correct on mine.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah, it's correct on mine.
To Nancy's point, do we want to say that, to say community center?
We did, she put it in. Designated senior.
But that's not even the whole thing. And programming for residents age 60 plus.
Indicated.
All right, well, you know what, we can just move, we can move this point.
Yep.
And then we can discuss.
All
it.
right, okay, all right.
So
Someone want to make the motion?
I can read it.
what?
Move to support the concept of an all ages community center with designated senior space and programming because the UMass study also identified an interest in a community center. It suggested that ReCalc or another committee review the needs and goals for community center, perform a more detailed assessment of priorities, and then define explicit plans to to address the needs. This should include all aspects of facility, staffing, services, programs, transportation, financial, et cetera. And consider centralized and distributed approaches to service. Oh my goodness. Somebody can say, you don't have to read. You can stop.
You're almost done.
And, okay, to service program delivery whenever possible. However, it should not take precedence over first looking at the program service and facility needs of Reading seniors as this need is well documented.
Oh, do I need to scroll down?
Yeah,
Am I missing it?
Yeah,
you've got it. It's
unless
just,
it's down below. Is it down below?
yeah, I'm pulling.
There it is.
There it is.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so that's the motion. So we need someone to second.
Second it.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Discussion.
I don't think you need discussion on this.
I don't like the word because.
I don't either. So due to the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Yeah.
Due to the, that's why we're discussing it. We just got due to the fact, due to the findings.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, better yet.
Of the,
Of the UMass study.
It identified.
Which identified? Maybe,
Good.
which identified? Which identified a high percentage of an interest in a community center?
Wasn't
No.
that high?
Wasn't that high.
It was less than a majority.
is that the 49%?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's. It would have been 48% if I hadn't corrected UMass's typo for them.
So.
How about a significant interest in a community center?
No, that gets into statistics and what that means.
No. So the other thing too is, it's suggested that recalc, I mean, is that something really that we can do?
What's another committee?
Well, I don't know. We don't, let me tell you why I put that in there. Because I was offering a suggestion to how that might be accomplished. But maybe that's not part of it.
Right, do we really have that authority?
Well, I personally don't want it to come back to Elder and Human Services to having to look at it. Because it's not our job.
So we could say, we believe that recalc or another committee should review the needs and goals.
Okay.
But is that, by suggesting that, is that gonna prolong this decision?
Well, that's
Yes.
why we've got that sentence down below. However, it should not take precedence over first meeting of.
Then why do it?
Right,
Well, because
we're trying to be collaborative and to show other people that we recognize their interest and it's a valid interest.
And there are seniors who expressed interest in the combined thing. We don't know how much the community center of that mattered, but they chose the one in combination with community center rather than
How
standalone.
about we support this, I'm not sure about this whole suggesting what we believe. How about the whole, we support this effort and which should include all aspects of facility staffing, like just take out that whole sentence. We support this effort to.
What if we say something like, this may lead recalc or another committee to review the needs and goals, et cetera?
I'm not sure that we need that sentence. I think it's more, we support this effort, which should include all aspects. However, it should not take precedence. I don't think we should have that recalc in there.
Yeah.
That sentence is actually taken verbatim from the current recalc summary. And it was applied to the senior center. Which
I think it's okay for them to say it, but
Yeah.
then we.
Okay.
And we don't know that it still says it for that matter.
and strike out. Okay. That's okay, just delete.
Yes.
Well, I just want to make sure. Let's change, I just want to make sure that we're in agreement about that.
It sounds good to me.
Okay, so we could then say, we agree, what did I say? I can't remember. We support this finding, or we are in agreement with this finding, but whatever. So it's due to the finding that the UMass which identified an interest in the community center. The COA agrees with it, supports this finding.
Well, here's another question. Do we even need this?
What, this whole
Or
motion?
so should we just end it after the first sentence?
No, I mean, do we even
Need
need
the
to
second
part.
support the concept of community center?
I,
And actually, it should say community center with, oh, it does.
it does, yeah.
I
I think we do because there are good numbers of seniors who chose the community center, including blah, 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 as an
Yeah.
option.
and
So it does
as,
reflect a lot of
so-
seniors.
and as an aside, I mean, practically, in practice,
Yes.
the select board is in negotiations with Walgreens. Walgreens is only 15,000 square feet.
But they're talking about
A
something
second
else,
floor.
a second.
But also you have to keep in mind, there are negotiations for a municipal building.
Right. They haven't said it's a senior.
They did
center.
not say it's a
No,
senior
well,
center,
it's
so you gotta keep that in
this-
mind.
No, in the,
It's
in the-
for,
in the warrant, it actually says senior center. I read the warrant.
does it say?
So-
Because I know they stated for a
I
municipal
know,
building.
but even if it is a municipal building, up until this point, it says, now, this, I think this is gonna be tabled anyways, but this is what was written in the warrant.
Can I?
Okay, here it is. Authorized to acquire by gift, purchase, or eminent domain for general municipal purposes, including senior and community center purposes. So it does,
We're digressing a little, I think.
Can I just go back to this, can I just say that we take out the red sentence and then the next sentence and just leave it at due to the findings which identified an interest in a community center. However, it should not take precedence over first meeting program. So we take out that whole middle part, because that's
Okay.
really not,
Where's the due to the,
Something.
where's the due to the finding?
Tom,
it's on the
Oh,
second
due to
sentence.
the finding, oh, I see.
So we take out
I
this
like
as,
that. Yes,
because
me too.
it's really
Yeah.
not
I
on
Yeah.
domains.
Right.
I like that.
Yes.
Okay, so this is what it will look like, and then I can undo it if it, so we just leave it at
Okay.
this.
Could we, if, where it says move to support the concept center with adequate designated space?
It wasn't worded that way,
It wasn't,
no, it was worded as, just as we've got it. Including designated space and programming for residents age 60 plus, was how it was worded in the
Oh, so I
survey.
should add that in.
Yeah. Please,
Reading residents.
age 60 plus.
I'm writing out the word 60 because I read that under 100, you're supposed to write out the word. Okay, but I just want to make sure because it's an age as opposed to, I didn't, so is it okay? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, what do we think about this?
What about the first sentence? Do we want to leave in all ages, or do we just want to take it out and put the concept of a community center?
It was written as all ages in the question in the survey, so I would say leave it in. Doesn't hurt. I'm troubled by the it because it's just, it's a dangling
Where's the
pronoun
it?
after the however. It,
Oh. So what do we want to say? This should.
However, usage,
This,
I like
however,
this.
it shouldn't take precedent
Not
over first meeting, the program, however. What are you trying to say there?
The All Ages Community Center should not take precedence over first meeting the needs of Reading seniors.
Maybe you should write that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
sounds
okay.
good.
Well, I was just repeating and answering it. However. the-
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
I think it's very good.
I like taking out all that little stuff.
Can we find a different word for needs? We have that in there a couple of times. Something a little bit more meaty.
There we go.
Requirements, facility requirements,
Facility requirements.
service and facility requirements of the Reading seniors.
I think so.
I know it's
You
just-
could take out the last need as this is well documented.
Yeah, take it out.
Here we go, and let it go. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Just take out the last
The
need.
very last need in the last sentence.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
And then put needs back after facility.
I kind of like requirements.
Oh.
Needs is good. Needs is
What do we
fine.
prefer?
We're introducing a new word with requirements. Maybe we shouldn't. let
Yeah,
the thing. Let's
yeah.
go back to needs. Good. Any further discussion?
Service and a larger facility need. You want to put anything in there about size, not to take precedent of first name current service and
Size was back in the first motion, wasn't it? We talked about adequate square footage.
No. 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 No.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome. As I read all the paragraphs, I'm thinking, no, no, no.
what are you saying no to, Joan?
Size was not
The eye?
mentioned. Size was not mentioned.
Oh,
I say sufficient square footage.
We do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in the second bullet point.
Yep.
Right there.
Yeah, I see it.
Would you do sufficient / adequate?
I think we should put something like increased.
We already voted on
Did we
it.
already vote on the top one?
Yeah, we're just
All
discussing,
right,
just
guys.
doing the bottom one.
Back to this one.
One
There.
thing I had was when we say, however, the All Ages Community Center, like the All Ages Community Center programming should not take precedence over first being the program services. That's what I'm saying, like, what are we saying when we say the All Ages Community Center?
It could be programming or facility.
I mean, the kicker is you're not saying anything about inclusivity. So,
That's true.
I mean,
We did in the first one.
did we say it up above?
Yes, accessible and inclusive.
We did, yeah.
Maybe take out the word however.
The other reason why I put this in here was if you look at square footage for a community center and you look at square footage for a senior center, community centers are up in the 25, 30,000 square feet. So then we're looking at Simon's Way.
Yep.
And because that's gonna be the only space that's gonna be available to do both of those things.
And it might not be available.
And it might not be available.
And so, but you also have to keep in mind, how many square foot did you just say for a community center?
20 to 36. Lexington is 36,000 according to their website. And one of the others they looked at was in the 20s, and I couldn't find the square footage for Arlington. I tried.
So
think-
the
I thi-
average in their summary report, the average was 19,300 square feet, and ours currently is, they have 5,700. And the smallest was 11,500.
Was that a community center? Was it?
It doesn't give the detail.
Okay, because they only looked at 3 community centers, so
Yeah.
if they're telling us 2 numbers, they're telling us an average, and this one's really small. So I think it must have been rural.
So Jean mentioned about taking out the however, how about we say, we believe the all ages community center should not take precedence over first meeting.
I think it's more than a we believe. I think it should be, we take out the however. I like the however.
Okay. We recommend
I think that's why I had all that verbiage in there about in order to do this, you are going to have to identify what's needed in a community center. Because until this survey, this wasn't even on the horizon.
Right.
People didn't even know that this was a possibility. So,
There was a cultural center brought up a year or 2 ago in the post office.
no, but for this survey,
Oh, yeah.
for this survey, the
It wasn't
community
defined.
center was just kind of inserted in there.
Was probably inserted because they felt that's the only way it's gonna pass. It
Might be true.
surprises me where every other town around us has a respect for elders and has a standalone building.
Not all.
I think some of it comes down to. Okay, but some of it comes down to who the town has chosen to be on the select board too. I mean, it's their view. I mean, they got elected, there they are.
So I do have, North Andover was listed as 13,550 square feet.
Their new building?
The new one?
No, that's Andover has a new building.
No,
Andover is right
did,
around 15,000.
Andover just renovated. They didn't get a new building. They
It
wanted.
does, it says here, and it says building process.
Yes,
And then Wilmington was 18,800.
Wilmington is building a new center. Wilmington is building a new center.
Yes, it says pending town funding, but the new square feet.
I've spoken with the North Andover one and asked her, and when I did it, you know, any hindsight, and she said she wished they'd asked for more space. So already, and it's not even built yet, she already knows they're gonna be squashed, so.
Wakefield has 26,000 square feet. Everett has
What was that? What was that?
26,000.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
facility?
Let's,
Yeah, let's
yeah,
wait
so
and see if we.
let's go, let's come back to,
All right.
All right, any further did we settle on the language? Are we happy with this? Any further discussion? Fine. Anybody else?
Should we put as this has been well documented?
Repeatedly. I don't want to put that in, but I'm just saying it.
Always better.
You think?
Facility needs of vetting seniors, comma, as this has been well documented.
Do we want to muddle the waters further? And you know that sentence that we took out about collaborating and whenever possible?
I think we've got to just be
Okay.
direct.
Yeah.
We can have those conversations, I mean, at town meeting.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's gonna come up.
Yeah.
I agree.
And we can point to current practice. It's not like that's a new concept.
Right.
This is hard at work at that.
Yeah, I agree.
Any further discussion? No, then I'll call the vote on the second motion. Debbie Small. Joan Coco,
Yes.
Karen Fatino. Not here. Karen Panett,
Yes.
Marilyn Shapley, yes. Karen Janowski,
Yes.
John Parsons not here, Sally Hoyt, not here. Sandy Schaefer,
Not yet.
Nancy Twadros.
Yes.
And Rosemary Di Benedetto.
Yes.
Thank you. We have a unanimous vote of the voting members tonight.
I just sent it both, the document to both of you,
All right.
so. Move to adjourn.
Second?
Second it.
Second.
Oh, can I just say one thing?
I'm told I'm obligated to adjourn once someone's
Okay.
done this.
Never mind.
We could convene a new meeting, I guess.
No. I, all in favor?
Yes.
We
all say aye.
Vote on the motion to adjourn. Joan Coco,
Yes.
Karen Panett,
Yes.
Marilyn Shapley, yes. Karen Janowski.
Yes.
Nancy Twadros.
Yes.
And Rosemary Di Benedetto.
Yes.
We are adjourned at 7:52.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We did good.
I have Simon's Way meeting on Wednesday night.
Ah.
So,
Thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone,
Everyone, yes.
bye, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so
Night.
much.